So let's talk about the command design pattern. So the command design pattern is a behavior design pattern which you can pass the object and encapsulate all that information. You can pass that object to the command, the class, and call these function calls on that command. And basically in gameplay, as a gameplay programmer and in games, we use the command design patterns for these games of these kind of type of games. For it's Gears of War tactics game, so it's a turn-based tactic games where you have all these UIs and you can select a unit and pass him a certain command. There's example, this was an XCOM, is also a turn-based strategy action game when you have all these nested UIs and you can pass these commands, and also you can undo a command for these units. So another example for RTS games is heavily used for RTS games also. And the last one is also a card game. When you have a card game, is you can pick a card and pass that as a command, and you use that you can use a command on a card and pass to that command the specific object after you select that object and encapsulate it and call that function call on that. So inside the engine itself, before the engine, let me go to this website. So refactoring.guru is actually explain this in more detail. It's not gameplay related, but you can get more ideas from this as he talk about all these command design patterns and how can be useful, because he's talking about as a software engineer in general topics. So he made all these information and what's are the pros and cons and how it can be very successfully as a single responsibility and open and close principles, and you can make an undo and redo and what are relation. And also he give you an example inside C++ as this, where you go to this as a game programming patterns.com. He give you this example on the command, and you can read that, because I try to make this video short as much as I can, because if you go to the command design pattern, we can go more than video. So I'll try to make this video, try to make one video about this command design pattern. I will show you in the engine for a few moments how I made this inside the Unreal Engine. So he make, for example, this when he call a function, when he's pressing a button on his input, he called these function where you can make a command and say, this is a jump command, please execute this jump command, or command, this is a fire command, make this fire command and execute that. And later on I can pass these as a pointers, and this is responsible for a command. And since this jump command, for example, inherit from that command, it has this virtual void execute. So you can, for example, if I press this button, okay, button X execute. Which execute? Maybe I'm gonna execute a jump or a build, a jump or a move or anything. So also you can pass a game actor. I will use this method as a game actor. I can pass my actor and do my specific call on that. So just like this, actor.jump, for example. I will show you in the engine, and you can scroll down. For example, move unit, you can inherit from command and you can execute that, or you can pass the unit itself. If I go back like this, you can pass the unit itself and do your function calls on that. So in the engine, I made this prototype very fast. I make a camera, I'm possessing this camera, and when I play, I have this UI. Okay, it's a simple user widget, and can call this. Okay, it's saying no unit has been selected because I'm checking if there is a valid thing or not. But since I select, for example, a unit, just like, for example, this guy, for example, and say, hey, build a barricade, he will build a barricade. For example, this is a simple example of calling a logging thing. I'm logging, just logging. Select this one. Okay, go to defend the base, please, for me. And it has been done by C++ side. So if I go to C++, I made some classes. The first class is I made a subsystem. It's a singleton pattern, design pattern. So I made a subsystem. It's from Game instance subsystem. It's I call that survivor unit subsystem. In fact, I just call it survivor unit subsystem. The U prefix will be already done for you by the engine. So I make that as a singleton subsystem from the Game instance subsystem, and all I have is a U property of T-array of all survivor method, for example these units. Okay, and I can add a survivor unit and can pass these actor. Okay, a actor. For this is a simple example, I'm passing an a actor. For your code, maybe you will pass an a character. Probably it will be an a character, not an a actor, but I'm showing you a very simple thing. So another one is please get me a survivor unit, so I can pass this command. Okay, first of all I need that to my stack, and after that get me that survivor unit at that index and do this. Another one I made, probably I won't use this because I don't need that in this example. You can also remove a unit. You can go very fancy about it. You can say T map. Also, you can make a T map of F name, for example, and call this a character and call these units. Okay, you can make this instead of T array. You can go very creative with that. You can pass the name of the character of the unit. Maybe you have this name different than another character, so you can call his name and this character, passing this character and adding that. So if I go to the CPP survivor units, since it's a T array, I'm adding that. If it's a T map, I need to pass two things. I need to pass the name and pass the survivor unit itself. Okay, and after I successfully that, for example, when I say get survivor unit, please get me a survivor unit at that index, first of all I need to always check for if it's greater than 0, because there is a chance you won't have anything inside the array. So make sure that you have the length more than 0. So if that, return me that survivor unit at that index, and if it's nothing there, just return a null pointer. And this is can get interesting, because I'm always returning from return an a actor, and this function won't guarantee that you will get a valid pointer, so you need to check if it's valid inside a blueprint. After I made this subsystem, I go to create the survivor itself. So the survivor itself, these actors, both these actors are a survivor unit based and inherited from a actor. This is a simple example. It can be an a character. I want to speed up things, so I made that as an a actor, and I made these three functions: build barricades, please, for me, and defend the base and kill zombies. And if I go to the CPP, I'm just logging these functions. Okay, defend, build, and kill zombies. This is all about the survivor unit, which are these two dummy actors. Okay, and after that I made a command. I just simply made a command inherited from a U object. If I go back to the engine and go back to the C++ thing inside this folder and make a new C++, and not from the command, from all classes and from this object, make it a pure class from a U object, and say next, and call this as a command, and I make this. But important thing to make is in abstract, it's optional for you in abstracting, but the important thing is to mark these as a blueprintable and blueprint type. So you can create a blueprint from this, and also you can make a variable from this command. Okay, so you can make a command that from any blueprint, and you can also make a blueprint from this. So this is super important. After that, I make you build command inheriting from that command itself, and all it has void execute, just one function, because overriding this function call. And I pass, as I showed you this example, when he pass this unit, I'm passing this a actor. So I can pass this a actor as a generic thing, then I can cast for my specific thing and execute that command. So this is about the command. Let me go back to the engine and show you. If I go to blueprints, I made some blueprints. So blueprints command, I made a simple, these are a blueprint things, and this one is from the C++ thing. Okay, so basically I can make a bb.command, and this is just a simple object from u object. This is a whole thing about a u object, sorry, from the object, just a blueprint thing. It's not a C++ thing. But I made the last one is this as a build command from my C++. You can do this in either two way, inside C++, or you can do this inside the engine itself. So if I say bb command, and it's all it's have is this execute, and I am passing the a actor itself, the actor, and I made another one, right click, create a child blueprint, and I make this command, and this command is passing this actor, since I can say this and override that. And first of all, I need to cast, because this is a generic thing, this is a generic a actor. I'm not passing the specific the unit itself. I need to cast that and call this function call, because this is a command of type build, and the next one is command of type, let me go, and this command is related to defend. Okay, this is defend, so I need to cast and call this function call on this bb survivor unit. So I made this, and after that I make a widget. Okay, this are the widget. I have 3 buttons. Okay, these 3 buttons will call these function calls. So if I go to the event graph, these are the 3 functions. If I say, okay, press on this button, I need to first of all check. I need to check. I get a survivor unit. Okay, I get a survivor unit from the survivor unit subsystem, and get me for that for a specific index, and make sure, this is why I told you, make sure always is valid, because this subsystem won't guarantee you that he return a valid pointer. So you need to check, always check for if it's valid. If it's valid, okay, construct me that build command and pass in this execute command. And let me go for back about the third controller. Before I get that, let me do this. I'm doing this very fast. From left mouse button, this is a third controller, and if I go to the class defaults, and I'm showing the mouse cursor and enable click event. So if I play, this mouse cursor will be appeared, and it will be enabled to hit this event. So I made this trace. Okay, and after I successfully cast this and pick this as a survivor unit, okay, get the subsystem, and please add that to my subsystem. Okay, after you add that, it will be in that array of that survivor unit subsystem, and then later on when I go to the widget, I'm getting that on that. When I say build, please call the subsystem, since these are a singleton design pattern, so it can be called from anywhere. Call this, please, survivor unit subsystem. Hey, call me a survivor unit. If it's valid, okay, do this. If it's not valid, no unit has been selected. This is showing you, and for example, if I go and play, and when I say build barricade, he's saying, hey, you don't have any unit have been selected. As soon as I picked one and hey, please build, this will be valid and build. Okay, this can be called. So let me go back to the widget, and this is how we can implement that. So if I go, for example, this, and where are you on advanced? You scroll down. It's on clicked. Okay, when it's clicked, this build, get me the survivor unit, and get me that at that index if it's valid, because I already told you the survivor unit.cpp won't guarantee, because there is a big chance that he will return a null PTR, and you will get an error message inside the engine. It won't crash, as I told you, it won't crash, but it will show you a runtime error, because you don't have a very valid survivor unit. After that, Okay, construct. I can call, for example, hey, from self, and from that I just type construct an object, construct object from class. And now which type of a class do you want? Basically, I want a command. For example, let me call this, is this the build command? Yep, did I make a build command for this? Yep, I built a command. Let's call this build command. So I already made this as a BBC. This is one from the C++. Let me do this. If I say, hey, construct a U object from BBC command, this will be constructed for you. For example, let me hook this up, and this one inside the blueprint. If you double click on that, sorry, it's in the build command, not in the CPP. For example, it has open. Let me close this very quick. For example, target this one. If you say targeting is BB, if I go to this one, it's calling this one, because since it's my blueprint. But I made this, go back, I made this as my C++, so I can have say, hey, execute, and now it will execute which one? It will execute this one. Command, build command, it will execute this one. And then after that, I will pass the receiver. Who is the receiver? The receiver is this one. Okay, I pass that receiver, and this will be valid, because I need to check for a valid thing. After that, from this self UI widget, hey, please construct a command for me, and this command will has an execute function. Execute that function and pass that survivor unit, and it will work. So let me play now, and if I say build barricades, hey, he's saying no valid pointer. So if I pick something and say it's build barricades, okay, it's calling this one. Okay, you can do this either as I showed you. You can do this in C++ or inside a blueprint. So you have the option. You can make a U object, for example, blueprint class, and make this as an object. For this, call this b anything command, and make this, for example, and all you need is a function call these execute, and pass as an input from, for example, I can pass the character, why not, and let me rename him probably, and say it's type of character I can pass, not an actor. Okay, I can do this, and this will be a valid thing. And later on I can say, hey, please make a child from that, and call this not a child, make this as a build command. Okay, so this will be inherited from that. This is as a blueprint. You can do this inside blueprint, or you can do that inside C++ as this. Okay, you can make one command and make another command saying this is a build command, hey, please override that execute command, and from the CPP call this function call. So you have the option to make this, but I'm showing you as I need a survivor unit, because I need a singleton design pattern, because I need to make something generic call. I can call all these survivor units. So this is the best approach that has been used. So you have this example. Okay, so this is the other one, saying, hey, go kill some zombies. So first of all, hey, get me survivor unit. I need to, from this, kill zombies. Okay, go and take the survivor unit subsystem. Do I have a survivor unit? Get me that at that index. If it's valid, okay, construct that command and pass that actor, an abstract thing, as I encapsulated that object call to that command, and execute that command. And you can go fancy about this. You can also go this command, for example, this command, and you can say virtual void undo, and undo your command. Maybe it won't be probably a good name to call undo inside a gameplay, because it's more related to a software programming. You can call this as a unit. You can call this stop, execute, stop. you can stop a player from going to build a barricade, or stop from player from moving from one point to another. So this is an example of the command design patterns. You can pass an object, encapsulate that call, and call this specific function on this object, and make sure that it has been succeed after you have cast that. So if it's target command, let me go this, for example, this is a command, and can go back, for example, this build command. This command will make ensure to call this build barricade, because it's casting to that, and call this function call, because I'm passing a generic one is an A actor. Okay, and since my survivor unit is in a type of A actor, it will be valid and call this function. So this is about the command design pattern. So this is how it can be done basically as a turn-based or a strategy game. I don't have much more experience because I don't play, in fact, RTS game, but this example, as I showed you, can be done in RTS or turn-based or even card game. So this is the command design pattern, and we will jump to the next video. So see you next.